Hi, everyone. This is John from Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports, getting you prepared here for Week 17 of the NFL season, and hopefully you're in your fantasy playoffs here, Week 17. Hopefully we'll get some people to come into the chat. Maybe we'll get some people to join the show here. But let's start diving in and looking at this week's schedule. No Thursday night game this week, so that's a nice little break. But kicking off this week, we got Jacksonville heading into New England. New England should get an easy win there. You never know, though. Jacksonville was able to beat Buffalo, so depends on what team shows up. Then we have Atlanta heading into Buffalo. Looks like Buffalo can clinch a playoff spot. Buffalo clinches a playoff berth with a win, and Baltimore loss, and some other things here. Chargers loss, Raiders loss. So a couple different ways for them to get into the playoffs. Then we have Kansas City, who already clinched the playoffs. Heading into Cincinnati. Cincinnati can clinch the North Division with a win. Some other options there for them as well, but a win automatically does it for them. So let's look here. We got Dirtbag. What's going on? Nothing much. Just doing. There's no game this week, but still wanted to do a little preview video here of what the games are this week. For guys maybe heading into their fantasy championship. My co-host Sean, who's not with me this week, he beat me in the playoffs last week, so he's fighting for a championship again this year. He beat me last year for the championship, and he's going up against one of our other friends in that league. So so it'll be good to see. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll be back live Sunday again with a little bit more in depth of who might be out and stuff like that. But then nice. He's in the semifinals. Sweet. Well, good luck. Hopefully we can help you out with any questions you might have. But let's keep going through the schedule here. We got the Rams heading to Baltimore. That'll be a good matchup there. I'm hopefully the Rams will be able to get a win there. Then we have the Raiders heading into Indianapolis. Miami going to Tennessee. The Giants heading to Chicago. Chicago with the big win in Seattle. I'll save my questions for the next show. That's fine. We'll have a little bit more information on Sunday as well, with all the injury reports and if there's any COVID news as well. But we just wanted to keep. We've live streamed the whole year on Thursdays, so we wanted to keep that going. But what else we got? We got Philadelphia heading into Washington. I don't have. Let's look at the NFC playoffs. Right now, the Eagles do have the last spot, so a win there would help them. They're 8-7, and there's 3 teams behind them: the Vikings, Falcons, and Saints, all at 7 and 8. So Philadelphia is going to want to win that game there. Tampa Bay heading in the Meadowlands to play the Jets. Tampa Bay should be able to get a win here. Let me see what the NFC. Oh, they already clinched it. They already clinched the division title. I was looking to see what the standings were for home field in the NFC. Tampa Bay is 11-4, so only one game behind Green Bay for that spot. So a lot to be played for there still. So Tampa Bay should be able to get that win against the Jets. We have Houston, who's won, I believe, back-to-back games, heading into San Francisco. You never know what San Francisco team's going to show up. So that could be a good one. Denver going up against the Chargers. Let's look at the AFC. Let's see here. Chargers and Broncos. Right now, the Broncos are 7 and 8, one game behind the Dolphins. for that playoff spot. Chargers have the same record as the Dolphins. Let's see, the Dolphins have the last spot, but the Ravens, Chargers, Raiders are all 8-7, and the Steelers are 7-1, and the Browns and Broncos are both 7-8. So a bunch of teams they have to jump over with 2 games to go. So these should be a couple interesting weeks here in the NFL. But then we have Arizona heading to Dallas. Man, some good games this week. Dallas is 11-4 right now. So they're only a game behind Green Bay for home field advantage. Where's Arizona? Arizona's 10-5 right now. A game behind the Rams for the West lead. So they'll depending on what the Rams do during the 1:00 game, Arizona could either be fighting for the division lead again. Then we have Carolina and the Saints. 2 teams, especially Carolina, started off 3-0, I believe, and now they're 5-10. So not that good of a season. Matt Rule could be in some trouble down there. I know he did sign like a 7-year deal to be their coach, but I don't know how much he had say in getting Sam Darnold, and that trade has not worked out. But then we have Detroit heading to Seattle. Seattle with a horrible loss at home to Chicago this past week. Man, excuse me. So it'll be interesting to see. I know the Lions there could still get the number 1 spot. Not that the teams are trying to tank or anything. I know the players don't want. I know fans might be wanting that to happen. But then the Sunday night game, we have Minnesota going into Green Bay. Sean's a Vikings fan, and they're 7-8, fighting for a playoff spot. Sean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know he's a little torn because he does want the head coach fired, but I know he also wants his team to make the playoffs. So, it's tough there. Not wanting to do too well because when a change needs to be made. But then Green Bay, I believe Green Bay clinch home field advantage with a win? Green Bay clinches the NFC's number 1 seed, only first round bye and home field advantage with a Green Bay win and a Dallas loss or tie. So, man, so they'll know going into their game, depending on what Arizona and Dallas did. Green Bay will know if they have a shot at clinching that. There are other things if Green Bay ties, and they need some teams to lose, but won't worry about that. And then the Monday night game, Cleveland heading into Pittsburgh. Both teams need a win to stay alive. Right now, like I said, Pittsburgh is 7-1, and Cleveland is 7-8. I believe they're last in that division. But only, let's see, they are 2 games back behind Cincinnati. So they would have to win both games. I believe their last game is against Cincinnati. So let's look at that. Let's see if that's true or not for Cleveland. Cleveland. So they would need Cincinnati to lose to Kansas City, which is a possibility. And then, they would. It's Cleveland and Cincinnati the last week. So depending on who's Baltimore's playing the Rams. Oh man! So let's see who Baltimore has the last week. Man, some good matchups coming down here. And it's Steelers Ravens week 18. So man, crazy. There's going to be some crazy matchups coming down to the end here. But since there's no questions going on, let's take a look at some of our projections for the week. I did have them. Where are they? There we go. Let me switch it. Here we go. All right. Some of the quarterbacks I definitely like this week for fantasy matchups. Josh Allen, we have number one, of course, but he's going up against Atlanta, who's 29th against fantasy quarterbacks. So definitely a good matchup there for Allen. So if you have him, good luck this week. Burrow, we have ranked at number two. He's number 8 on the year, going up against the 28th ranked fantasy defense against quarterbacks in Kansas City. So that'll be a good matchup there as well. Should be. I like Aaron Rodgers this week against Minnesota. Minnesota's 27th against fantasy quarterback, so another favorable matchup there. I actually like Jalen Hurts this week against Washington. Washington's dead last against fantasy quarterbacks. Hurts is number 6 on the year for fantasy quarterback. So, I know most of his points, I believe, are coming as rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So, but hey, if he's going to get you, he's averaging 22 fantasy points a game. And last week he had just under 21. So, definitely worth playing in your fantasy playoffs. And I actually like Kirk Cousins this week as well. Green Bay's 29th against fantasy quarterbacks. And Minnesota's going to need a win. Not saying they're going to get it, but they need a win to stay alive. And Cousins is 9th on the year as a fantasy quarterback. So I know he doesn't seem to be able to win the primetime games or the big games, but he's having a great year, averaging 19 points a week. So definitely, unless you have one of these other guys, make sure you get him into your lineups as well. Quarterbacks, I not that I don't like it. They might not have a bad week, but I would say lower your expectations this week. Dak Prescott going up against Arizona. Arizona's number 5 against fantasy quarterback. And Justin Herbert going up against Denver. Denver's number 4. So, and that's a division game. Both teams need a win to stay in the playoff hunt. So that'll be crazy there. Let's look at some of the running backs this week. We got Jonathan Taylor going up against the 29th ranked fantasy defense for running backs in Vegas. Nick Chubb for Cleveland going up against Pittsburgh, who's 27th. Montgomery for the Bears, who's 22nd on the year, but we have him 3rd this week, going up against the Giants, who are currently ranked 24th. So, I mean, make sure you guys are keeping up to date on any injury or COVID news. Who else we got here? As far as good matchups, we have Penny down there at the bottom of the list, going up against Detroit, who's 26th. Penny last week had 19.5 points, so that's good. So make sure you get him. That should be a favorable matchup there. And you can see here in the red some of the guys I don't like. Maybe once again, not like they just maybe lower your expectations. Damien Harris going up against the 9th ranked team. Chase Edmonds going up against the 6th ranked team. Eckler, I know he gets a lot of points out of the backfield, catching some passes as well, going up against Denver, who's 10th. Justin Jackson also on the list there for the Chargers. Kamara going up against Carolina, who's still, even though they're having a bad year, are 2nd against running backs. And Josh Jacobs going up against Indianapolis. Man, Indianapolis is going to be a tough team to play in the playoffs. They are coming together at the right time. So let's take a look here at wide receivers. Some easier matchups this week. We got Adams going up against Minnesota. Kupp going up against Baltimore. Man, I can't believe Baltimore is 28th against fantasy wide receivers. Man, what happened to that defense? A.J. Brown going up against Miami, who's 24th. Miami's, I believe, seven straight wins, something like that, to get back in it. But Diggs going up against Atlanta. Looks like a good matchup. Waddle for Miami going up against Tennessee, who's 31st. Amari Cooper for Dallas going up against Arizona. Nice matchup there for him. So let's see here. Justin Jefferson. once again, guys, not saying these guys are going to have bad weeks, but maybe just lower your expectations a little bit. Jefferson going up against Green Bay, who's 10th. Antonio Brown going up against the Jets. Jets are actually right now 7th against fantasy wide receivers. Now, I know they do give up a lot of rushing yards and a lot of points to tight ends. So if you have one of those guys, maybe use them against the Jets this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, tough matchup against Seattle, and Michael Pittman and Evans on there as well, going up against the 3 and 7 defenses. So, guys, make sure we will be back Sunday. Looking at any injury news. Oops, sorry. Just wanted to make sure there were no questions. Let's go back. Let's look at the tight ends here. Kelsey going up against 26th ranked Cincinnati. So that's a good matchup. Kittle, man, Gronkowski. Yeah, see, there's Gronkowski on that list. Gerald Everett for Seattle with a favorable matchup. Higbee for the Rams, and Moreau for Vegas, if that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not familiar with him. So all favorable matchups this week. But then Pitts, Schultz, and Gesicki, all with tough matchups. So unbelievable tough matchups, all top 5 defenses against tight ends there. I won't get into kickers too much because you never know what's going to happen there. But and defenses. So it looks like the Rams, Baltimore gives up a lot of points to special teams and tight end and defenses. So some good matchups, guys. So make sure you get your lineup set. We will be live streaming again on Sunday. We'll be back at noon Eastern. So if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter at PA Fantasy Sports. Over there, we'll be back Sunday with updates, weather updates, COVID updates, injury updates. So thanks for watching, and good luck in your fantasy this week. And we will see you Sunday.